Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for all of the interest on Facebook about this software and what I'm doing with it. I think it's pretty cool. Uh, it can be a little bit complicated. I'm going to do some tutorials and try and keep things as simple as I can. The practicality of what I do, I'll let you decide if that works for you or not. So let's just get started. Just jump right in. I'm going to be doing all of this live and straight through, so it might be a little bit rough in some spots. No editing. Also, I'm using a screen recorder, so this little window may pop up occasionally. Pay no attention to it. It's just what's recording what I'm doing. All right. So let's go get the software. You're going to want to go to Google on your web browser and search for ANIM8, the number 8, OR, Animator, just like that. And the first hit should be the Animator website, animator.com. Click on that. It's a really cool website. There's a lot of neat stuff here. You should come back and check it out. Some cool like three-fingered hands, which is kind of creepy. All right, so we're going to go to download right here at the top, and then over here you're going to find Animator ANIMV100.zip. That's the file you want. Click on that and download it. Best spot to download that is right to your desktop because this is an executable file. So it doesn't really install as a program. It's actually just an executable file. So once you do that and double click on it, you should get this cool little icon, or it may just open directly depending on what you're running. I am actually doing all of this in Windows XP. Don't judge me. I'm kind of doing that on purpose because I want you to see that it can run. This software will run on an older system. You don't need a super computer or anything like that to make this work. I have it on my desktop computer that's running XP, which is really old, and I also have it on my Microsoft Surface 3 that I take with me when I do consultations with clients and things. I can actually do this right on site at their home or at the venue. Okay, so it runs on just about everything. So we're going to go ahead and open the program. You just double click on it, it'll open up. Go ahead and go full screen with it. And this is the default view that you should get when the program opens. It's the you should just have a big one full screen view of the front. Since this is the first time we're running the software, you're going to go to File, go down to Configure UI, which is the user interface, and these are just some general settings for the interface. I deselect some options here just because it keeps things a little cleaner. You might want to do the same just so when we're working, if you're following tutorials, your images of what you're working with, what you see looks like what I'm doing. So down here in wireframe views, I untick show axis, untick transparent faces, and untick thick lines. I untick those three options. It just keeps things a little neater and a little bit cleaner, especially when you're start working with a lot of individual objects. Okay, so you say okay with that. You never have to go back there again. That is a permanent setting in the program. The program will remember that every time you open it up. If you were to come here, these should all still be unticked and you're good to go. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to configure the workspace. So we go up here to front, which is obviously indicating we're looking at a front view of whatever we're working on. We're going to click on front, and we can change this view by selecting another view here, or we can select all, click all, and what that does is that gives us this view. So the way I like to set up my workspace is I make this top left is going to be top, and I'm doing that by just clicking on the view. And then this bottom left is going to be front. So now I have top and front. And then this bottom right is going to be left. Trust me, right is left. It makes sense. And then this top right is going to be perspective. This is kind of the standard layout for a mechanical drawing or any kind of a drafting drawing. So this is how my brain works and how it works. You'll want to do this, again, because when we're doing tutorials, your screen will look like my screen. All right. The next thing we're going to change is the grid spacing. What I do when I'm working is I like everything to fit and go together really nicely and neatly instead of this kind of free-form kind of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Options, and we're going to go to Grid. Now, a quick note. Everything that I work with, all of the models and things, as we get further into this, everything that I've built as part of my tools and things that I use. Everything is based on inches. So whenever we input a number or an increment or a dimension of an object, everything is in inches. So if you use a metric system, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You'll just have to convert everything to inches. So just, you know, keep a quick you know, I don't know, centimeters to inches thing open up on Google or something. All right, so back to this. So grid spacing, we're going to go ahead and go to options, go to grid, and we're going to change our grid spacing to 0.25, to 1/4 of an inch. So what that does is that gives us our spacing a resolution of 1/4 of an inch. Gives us a little finer tuning, but still makes things snap to within 1/4 inch resolution. All right. Now, we've changed that setting, but to get that to work, we need to enable the actual grid snapping, or grid snap grid, whatever they call it. Real quick, if you notice, as I mouse over some of these buttons and go over the top of these, down in the bottom left-hand corner, right above start, you will see I get little hint indicators telling me what I'm on. So if you're looking for something and you're not sure what it does, oh, that's the non-uniform scale. That's what that does. There's also a little keyboard shortcut right next to that. If you want to start learning keyboard shortcuts, you can do that as well. I use a few of them, and I may use some of them during the tutorial, so I will always indicate when I'm doing that. Okay, back to the grid. We did that. Okay, now to get it to snap to the grid. So we've done options and grid. We set the grid to 0.25, and then we're going to toggle the snapping. So you want this enabled. What that does is that's going to make things snap to within 1/4 inch increments as we're working. This will all make more sense as we get further in and actually start working with objects and models and things. The other part of the viewport I like to keep enabled is this right here, which is actually the materials editor, materials view. You want to keep this on object, not file, object. There's an apply button, and then what you will have here is this will start to fill up with materials or textures or basically colors and skins or surfaces for whatever we're working with. That's basically it for setting up the viewports and setting up the program. We are ready to start actually working with some actual 3D objects. So that will be the next video.